Hello, welcome to Starlight Talks. I'm here this week with my sister, Lillian. And we're going to talk about autism and stories from our lives. So, check out our website, autism.com, where we have all the upcoming events, all the different support groups, and the social events. Like next weekend, we have a end of the year celebration coming up, so you can register for all those things. And there's a parent breakfast, coffee. Yeah, and then I have a blog where I write about living with autism. And we have Life Map and all the other great programs we have. So go check out autism.com for all of that, and come back next week. I do these live streams every Wednesday at 7. So check me out again next week. Yeah. So here's Lillian. I'll let her introduce herself.
So I'm Lillian. I'm also a founder at Artism. I work more behind the scenes stuff, so you don't see my face as often as you see Chloe's. But I'm there. I do host some of the workshops with her. And I also got a role on a show that's coming out in January called Everything's Gonna Be Okay, which you learned a little bit about when Adam was on. So yeah, that's kind of me. I'm very into like science and learning things, where Chloe's more like the artsy side of things. I think we balance each other out really well.
I like doing this show with you, talking about, because autism is a spectrum and how we both have autism, but how it affects us very differently, and how we have different personalities, and showing that side of things, how, we grew up in the same environment and, went through a lot of the same things, but experienced it very differently.
Yeah.
And so I like sharing that with you guys. And so if you guys have any comments or questions as we go along, please feel free to leave them. And we love interacting with you guys. Hi, Haley. Thank you for joining.
She's back.
Yeah. Everyone say hi so I know you're watching and I can give you guys shout outs.
Love you, Haley.
Yeah, thank you for being so loyal and coming back. Yeah, I would definitely have Alex playing in more projects in the future, and you'll see more of him. So yeah, this week I'm here with Lillian. She's my twin sister. If you guys did not have that information before, you have it now. Oh, Mom, can you mute the...
It sounds like it's coming from over there.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay. So thank you guys for joining. We're going to talk about our life stories living with autism. So I thought we'd start with sensory because that's a big one that those of us on the spectrum experience. One of the obvious signs that you have autism is that the way your senses work are different than that of a neurotypical or an autistic. So we even have different sensory processing than each other because there's two types of that. There's hyper and hyposensitive. So do you want to talk about it?
Okay, so hypersensitive means you're you feel things or hear things or see things to a heightened extent, and hyposensitive would be you feel, hear, see things at a lesser extent. So for example, with touch, I'm hyposensitive, so what a neurotypical normally feel would be a normal touch for me is lighter and more. So things that like clothing, I like heavier and tighter fabrics because otherwise it feels feathery and almost like tickles me. And again, we don't, us on the spectrum don't filter out anything. So our brains never go, oh, that's useless information. So sometimes a neurotypical will put on a shirt that's a little uncomfortable, but within a few hours, they don't feel it anymore. That never happens with someone on the spectrum. So if it's uncomfortable, it will always be uncomfortable. So comfort within clothing is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same with all the other senses.
Yeah. So for you, you're more affected by sound.
Yeah, I'm hypersensitive to sound.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so I think high pitches are what bother me more. And I think it's what bothers you as well,
Yeah.
high pitches. You like, we're both much more comfortable with low pitches. We love like singers with really low voices and instruments that are lower. They're just, for us, it's more pleasant to the ear.
The
operatic music is really, well, when it's lower, it's okay, but like any high voices. But yeah, the operatic sound is very difficult to process, I would say, and it's almost, it's painful for our brain to comprehend.
So when you experience that kind of discomfort for so long, so if you're in an environment that causes sensory stimuli that your body rejects, it actually can get sick or feel pain. And that's when you'll start getting a sensory overload. That's what that's called. And so there's those that actually get ill and throw up or get diarrhea. There's those who feel a tremendous amount of pain. There's those who start shaking. It's rejecting it like you have eaten something that you shouldn't, or like, it like you're in a fight or flight mode. Like you might feel like you're being attacked when you're not. So your body's trying to defend off sensory stimuli, but you can't fight a noise. You can't fight something, like that. So your body doesn't know what to do, and it's trying to fight it. So in that way, you'll see a lot of symptoms that might seem like, oh, they have stomach problems, or oh, they have anxiety, or panic attacks, when it's actually a sensory overload. Because everyone else is doing fine, but the person on the spectrum is experiencing something very different. So maybe it's a bright light that's doing this to them. Maybe it's a color. Maybe it's some sort of texture. Maybe it's the food they're smelling. There's so many different things it could be.
And a sensory overload equates to actual trauma to us. So I think the study said our bodies react the same way as someone being robbed with a weapon. Is the equivalent of the trauma we go through during a sensory overload. So it is a very serious thing and should be taken seriously and dealt with both before and after to deal with the trauma that comes along with it, that it's not just, it's over, the sound is gone, you can move on.
No.
Your body still was like you were in danger. You need to deal with the trauma of that.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't like a real danger to your body sensed that it was.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with that.
Recovery from that takes a while. It's just like you can't immediately calm down from that kind of situation. Your body can't go back to its normal state. It takes a while. And then you've also used a lot of your energy. So, like when you're stressed out for a long period of time, then you come out of that stress, you get sick because you've been using excess energy that you shouldn't have been using. That happens as well. When people go through adrenaline and then they lose that adrenaline, they don't feel so good because your body went through, something very, very dramatic. And so you need a recovery time to get that energy and that capacity back to function normally. So that's where the shutdown comes in place. So it's like sensory overload, then I've had a sensory overload, then I've, pushed myself, then you get the shutdown where you stop processing and you might lose some functions like communication or spatial awareness
different senses.
Different senses. You might lose your sense of smell. You might,
you get tunnel vision,
hyper focus.
Yeah.
All those kind of things will come into place where you will actually have to shut down different functions because you don't have the energy to keep it all going. So you're shutting down the things that you don't necessarily need, or so you're not hearing things that you should, or you're not sensing things you should. You're not able to communicate or process information the way you should. So this can happen as well when someone's in a scary situation. You might forget things. You might black out. Information might dissipate. You might lose the ability to speak, to move. Then that's, when someone's scared, there's fight, flight, and there's also freeze. And with autism, you start getting a shutdown. And that's when you'll see people go into their room and like pull the blankets over their head and do all sorts of different things in order to cope. So, and again, for everyone, it's very different how they shut down. For me, like my executive functioning normally goes first. So the order I'm supposed to do things in, that's out the window. Where I'm not able to like text and make phone calls and, cook and clean, and not that I'm able to do that normally, but all those get harder or impossible. Where Lillian seems to have different things that shut down.
I think the first thing that usually goes is language. I'm often able to understand language, but my language processing to use verbal language leaves. Sometimes I'm able to use slang language. I'm not able to write at all. That writing is first, and then verbal language. But I can usually use some form of body language or sign language to communicate. And then beyond that, it goes like my motor functions are just gone. Like I can't process what to do, and then I just freeze in places. And that's where my service dog usually comes into play to be able to just guide me out of whatever situation. So I'm not stuck just standing in the situation that's causing me to freeze. And that's usually the things that go for me. And then I think it also depends on what's causing it, because sometimes you're able to deal with certain things and nothing disappears, and sometimes everything goes at once. If it's like a specific noise that just deactivates everything, or if it's like a feeling that you can just kind of tolerate, but eventually it will cause it, and you're able to go, okay, this is going to eventually lead to something. I need to be careful.
Oh, Brandy says, thank you so much for sharing. This helps me understand my son so much better. You're welcome.
You're welcome. We love sharing our story, and we feel like we've learned it's much more universal than we thought. So any way that we can help someone else by sharing our story is so great to hear.
And Haley asked, how long does it take to train a service dog? I recommend Haley checking out after this video. We made a video with a service dog trainer, and we go into a lot of that. But for a quick answer, it can take up to 2 years to train a service dog. It just depends on the dog. It depends on what you're training them for. Yeah, thank you for your question, Haley. That's one of our dogs running down the stairs. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're going to tell you some stories about us and living with autism. And in case you guys missed it, this is Lillian, my twin sister. We both have autism. We were both diagnosed at 16, and we experience life very differently, even though we're both on the spectrum and we're both twins.
Yeah.
I think the way we process information is very different, the way we think.
Mhm.
Where you have the more stereotypical logical mind. I mean, mine's still logical because I'm on the spectrum, but yours is less gray area. Well,
Yeah,
mine
it's
is
very rigid, black and white for me. It's
Yeah.
very hard to comprehend anything in a gray area. It just doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. Every
It's-
problem has a
yeah.
solution.
It's really hard to understand gray areas for me.
You're one of those that likes the facts, and I'm more have fun in more areas of the abstract.
Although we both like breaking rules and finding new ways to do things.
Yeah, but that's like because
Yeah.
neurotypical rules aren't the same as autistic rules.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So like there's just things that don't make sense we like to just not listen to. And we like testing things to see if it's actually true or not. So when the why is really important, you know, when it's like there's this rule but you don't explain the why, then we're going to figure out why that's the rule.
Yes.
You know, when it's like we had this rule in place for your safety and here's why, then we'll go, okay, that makes sense and we won't do that. But when you're just like, oh, don't go into that area, we're like, well, immediately want to go in that area and find out why we're not supposed to be there.
Yep.
I mean, you're definitely a little bit more than me like that. Where like I have to have more of an interest in whatever's
thing,
going on there. Where you're like, I wonder what that reason is. We can't go there. We're like at a museum, like because I'm an artist, I understand why there's a rope and you can't touch the paintings because the oil on your fingers and shadows and light and all that can affect the painting. And people who don't know that are like, why can't I go up and put my face against the painting, like, and touch it and feel it? Like, I get it.
Yeah, right?
But when someone explains to you, well, if everyone were to touch this painting, then the paint would fade and we wouldn't be able to see the painting anymore. Like, okay, I'll stay behind the rope. When you're like, well, I'm not going to steal it, so I'm just going to touch it.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like that kind of stuff. Those of us with autism have more. Where we like why we like things to make sense. We like to question things, which is not always safe.
No. But we do it. I know I do it all the time. And like you either love me or hate me for it. And then there's no in between.
Yeah. Where I have more of that rule is probably there for a reason. She's like, well, I'm going to find out what reason that is.
Yeah. And if I don't like it, I'm not following it.
Yeah.
It's not stupid. I can't help it.
Oh, Meredith. Haley Meredith. She asked, what did you do today?
I had an audition and we filmed the audition tape and we did a little bit working on moving house.
Yeah, I slept a lot and then did that. Yeah, we had a day off. We're moving to a new house, so we had a day off. It was very nice.
Nice and
Get that self-care in. It's important. I just got on. What is the topic tonight? We are talking about different stories about how autism has affected us differently. I think it's been a while since I talked about what autism is and the symptoms of autism. And so I thought I'd bring that up again. And if you guys have any questions or comments or stories yourself, Haley asked, can we tell jokes? Of course. Of course.
Tell all the jokes. We love to hear your jokes.
Brandy says we trained our ESA, emotional support animal. He was 1 year old when we rescued him. He's a lab. He was able to help my son during meltdowns right away. That was just his natural response. But he has been trained to walk with my son, keeping him on the inside of the sidewalk. He will not let my son out of my sight. Oh my God, that's such a good dog. He will bark when my son is out of bounds. He tattles. My son once leaned out the 2-story window to drop out an army parachute man. The ESA barked in the back door, then looked up when he got my attention. It took 6 months to just over a year to fully train him to obey my son and watch out for him 100%. Yeah, when that bond happens, it's like they figure out what they need to do. So yeah, that 6 months could be it. And then they'll just want to do things for you, you know?
Yeah, but I would say that 2 years is also for exposure to the world.
Yep.
That as a service dog, it may learn its tasks in 2 months.
Oh yeah.
But beyond that,
there's also distractions.
A lot of training to with distractions and dealing with anything throughout the world and surprises and when to go to the bathroom and how long to just stay in one place. It's all time consuming.
Yeah, and he was already a year old when they got him. So like the older dogs, you don't have to deal with the puppy stuff. Because you, like with the puppy, you got to do the potty training and the teething and all that. So all of that. Yeah, that's really cool. Dogs are so great. And with autism, I do feel there's a connection we have with animals that's very unique. The language of animals is a lot of times easier than the language of people because they're very straightforward, and we like that.
Yep.
Dogs like, I'm happy, and they don't do that passive aggressive stuff. Well, most of them. There's once in a while you get in a passive aggressive. But like for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. That's nice. Thank you for joining, Molly. Hi, Dawn. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so we're talking about how autism affects us both differently and stories related to that. And so we both have service dogs, so we're talking about how they've been helpful. So for me, Benji does pressure, so I love a lot of weight on me, and it's been really helpful. I sleep with a weighted blanket, which helps with sensory wise because I have a lot of touch sensory, so I'm always covered head to toe, and the weight really helps me deal with that, keep me from having a sensory overload. So it's very calming to me. So I have a dog that loves to do that. Not all dogs love to do that, but I got one that does. So that's his favorite to do, pressure and hugs. Lillian's dog is not a fan of that as much as my dog, but that's not what he was for. He was for pulling her out of situations and warning her when she's in a situation that she needs to get out of. He's very, very good at that, and he loves doing that. So when you find, this service dog that loves doing his job, they're not going to let you down. So Meredith said, is the anxiety level different for each of you?
Yes,
Yes.
100%. And we get anxiety over different things.
Yes.
And I think that's from life experience. Like, what causes your anxiety is something that's actually affected you in the past. For example,
you had anxiety a lot earlier than me.
Yeah. And that was caused by I got sick, and a lot of the world did not believe me. And so it became really difficult, and it became anxious for me to leave the house and do things because people didn't believe that I was in pain and needed to leave, that whatever my needs were would not be met because the world didn't believe in what I was saying, and that caused extreme anxiety. And I think I still have that because I'm scared that the world won't believe me, and because that's a learned behavior.
For me, it's mostly doctors, dentists, that area, because I have a lot of experiences similar where I wasn't listened to and I didn't feel safe. And so that trauma, those memories come back when I'm in those kind of environments. And it's very difficult for me. I have a lot of anxiety, and it's really bad about doctors and dentists, and so I can't go to appointments by myself. It's that bad. So I have a lot of anxiety about little small things. Where like I have like overall anxiety about everyday things.
Yeah. And driving is just so difficult for me. That causes a lot of anxiety. And for me, it's mostly like during an activity I have the anxiety, like not beforehand. And yours is a lot beforehand.
Oh, whenever I think about doctors, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god!
For me,
because we were talking about if you were on the Good Doctor, or like, because they all did. Yeah. And I was like thinking about, could I even go on that set without having trauma? I don't know. Because it does look like a doctor's office, and I've been in like just in the waiting room or in a doctor's office. They're not even there, and I'm like, I don't want to be here. So,
and for me, doctors was the one place I was believed in.
Yeah.
Right. So that doctors almost homey when you find it's the right one. I don't, not all of them, but especially hospitals for me was like the place that I knew I would be taken care of.
Well, I think it's like pediatricians are like, we don't have to listen to the kids, we can listen to the parents. But like, maybe I should have just gone straight to a doctor and not dealt with the pediatrician. I don't know. Because like you went to hospitals, and so they like were like, we need to talk to you because you have the symptoms and this is very serious. And figured out how to get the information from you, where I felt like most of there's also, it's not just doctors, this is just everyone dealing with kids. They try to get the information from the parents,
which is heightened, I think, when you have some sort of disability.
Oh yeah. We'll just be walking down the street with somebody and they see the service dog, so they'll talk to whoever's with us and ask them questions about us and our service dog, and I'm like, I'm right here, I'm an adult.
Where's Richard? Hello, Richard.
Hi, Richard. Thank you for joining. Hi, Marilyn. Oh my god, Haley. Benji, the hero, saves the day. Yes, I call Benji my superhero. He's if you've seen Benji the movie, I think it should be considered a superhero movie. It's on Netflix. Y'all should watch it. It's a great time. It's silly and just an emotional experience to have with friends, I think. Yeah, he's my superhero. he definitely saves my day all the time.
Mhm.
Luke's a Jedi.
Yeah.
He's a baby Jedi. He's still learning. He's still learning the Force.
Not how he ever will.
Yeah, they've got magic. Dogs are magical.
They are. They make a difference just being around you. And you want to go on to another topic?
Sure.
We talk,
What should we talk
we
about?
talk about stimming.
Oh, stimming. I love stimming. I want to get a rocking chair.
Yep. She loves rocking. That's one
I
of
love
her
rocking.
favorite
I love
stems.
swinging. I love spinning. Like, I want to get a tree swing. We finally have a tree in our yard.
You want to tell them what a stem is?
A stem?
Yeah.
It's a repetitive movement, motion, action. Yeah, okay.
And
That-
why do we need to do that? Yeah.
Because
Why is it important?
because it feels good, and it's emotional regulation. It helps you feel safe and good and happy and express yourself.
Yeah. Is it something we should stop doing?
Never. If you're dealing with someone who is stimming, let's say in a way that it's not working, then figure out a way to make it work. For example, I know a lot of kids love to do headstands, they love to jump, they love to throw things. So obviously, they can't just pick up any item and throw it. That's not going to work. So if you give them an area and something soft to throw at a wall, like here's this beanbag, you can throw this as hard as you want against the wall. This wall. And every time they go to throw something, you hand them the beanbag, put them against that wall, say throw it there. They'll soon learn that's the wall we throw things on and stim on. We can't spin on every desk chair we see. This is the one that we swivel on. Those kind of things. Then you'll find they are much happier once they know, oh, I can do this then when I need to do this, but I need to do it safely.
Mhm. But if it's not a problem and it just looks weird, it's fine. Just let them do it. Let them be awkward. Let them, because it's very important that they deal with their emotions and deal with their stress and process whatever they need to process. And if you stop them doing it in the way that works best for them, then their functioning level will go down. It's difficult if I'm not allowed to stim. My emotions can go crazy. My processing of things can just stop, and I just become a useless human. I can't do things if I don't stim. Stim is necessary.
What's that movie, Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
That's a stim.
That's a stim. Pacing is a stim. And the emotional stems of just like, you know,
Jumping,
someone whooping. Woo!
Whoop,
Like
whoop,
people
whoop,
do
whoop,
that at baseball games. They
Headbanging.
get so excited, right? Yeah, headbanging, like whatever. These are things that even neurotypicals need to like express and let out. And if they
Jumping,
they're socially appropriate stems for some reason and socially inappropriate. But if it's fine for someone to flap if they
playing
need to
with your
flap.
hair. A lot of girls do that. That's
Yep.
stimming.
That's stimming.
Yeah. Playing with your jewelry.
And there are stim tools that you need. If someone's always chewing on their sleeve and you don't want them chewing on their sleeve because that's a little gross, there's stim jewelry you can buy. There's stim items that you can keep in your pocket in a Ziploc bag that you pull out and chew on if chewing is a necessary stim for you. There's jewelry that is made so if you keep hurting yourself on whatever ring you have, there's jewelry that's made to spin around that won't hurt you. So look out for whatever that item is. Look up stim products, sensory related products for anyone who needs those sort of things. They're out there. There's always a reason why. So if you find out the reason why and you help with whatever that reason is, you don't need to necessarily stop the stim. You stop what's causing the stim. But sometimes it's a happy stim, and stims can be good. So if you're just overly happy, you need to process that. There's no reason to stop the reason for that stim. Right? So always find out why someone is stimming rather than just going, don't do that. The pen clicking, right? There's so many different stims. Whatever repetitive movement that they need to do, let them do. Yeah, as long as they're not hurting anyone or hurting themselves. You're having a good time there.
Have you seen someone talk like that? What are you doing?
Stimming.
I like to take things and go like this.
That's more sensory though than stim, I would say.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Sometimes having something that causes a different sensation in your body helps you stay in your body and focus. So that's where like a weighted blanket comes in, or some people like to play with something slimy or something smooth, and they need to feel whatever that feeling is to keep them in their body and focused. It's a different sort of, I guess it is a stimulation, but it's not necessarily a stim. But it gives you that sensory input. That's important, and a good sensory input, because there's a lot of negative sensory inputs. And sometimes we need a good one to counteract that sensory overload. My Wednesday night entertainment. Thank you. I'm so glad you find us entertaining. Just having fun with stimming now. Showing you everything.
Sorry. Oh, is that a question? I know that some stimming is harmful. Like with mine, it's picking the cuticles of my fingers. What would you recommend to get around negative behavior? By the way, I do that with the clip all the time. Well, if you like picking, find something you
can pick.
Yeah.
If that's what you need to do, if you need to have like a rubber band that you can put on your wrist and just pick at it, and it gives you a similar thing. Something you need to scratch, if you need to get something that has that feeling.
I don't know if they have anything
bring those tools.
that mimics cuticles, but they probably do if you search the internet.
You probably do, but
because
like,
I know that it's really gross. But there's people who love pimple popping, and they have items that mimic that sensation.
But if you can find something that feels similar to you and can create that sort of feeling for you, just bring it with you, and whenever you have that feeling, transfer it to that item, and hopefully it gives you the same sort of feeling. It's tough to transfer a stim once you have one, but that is the best thing I can recommend, is finding something that gives you that same sensation. And do that, and really try and focus on when you're doing that to transfer that to something else. Or if there's another stim that works just as well, to transfer to chewing, if chewing will give you the same sort of emotional relief. Or if that's it, whatever the stim is that you can transfer to, that's my recommendation. Because yes, there is always that, if it's not rubbing your cuticle, rubbing a different part. Yeah.
Hi, Dara. What are you doing awake? Oh, she woke up in the middle of the night and saw you. Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. We're talking about different stories related to autism that we both experienced, but differently. And we were bringing up stimming, and
yeah,
you know I love my stimming.
So I pick at my nails too, and I found having nail polish prevents that. And then if I really do have to pick at my nails, I pick at the nail polish, and that comes off rather than actually picking on my nails. I don't know if that's something. Yeah, there's clear nail polish that exists. If you could wear a glove and pick at the glove, I don't. There are options out there. You just gotta be creative. Yep.
Thank you for your question.
What did you do today?
Did we already answer
I
that?
feel like we answered that question. Yeah.
We did great things.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Their day off.
Sleep is important. Catch up on your sleep.
I didn't really sleep, but
Dara.
I rested. I did a lot of stimming. I listened to music. I wrote a lot of emails.
I wasn't that productive. But I was productive yesterday.
Yeah, you were more productive yesterday.
And you were not.
No, I was sick.
We're moving. It's a lot of work.
You can't wear nail polish at work. I'm
We'll
sorry.
get the invisible one. Nobody will know. Yeah. There's a lot of policies.
There's a lot of
about that. Let's talk about food.
Food. Okay, so we both have very.
You just have allergies.
I have lots of allergies.
I'm very picky.
She's picky,
She just has allergies.
which
Just-
makes me picky.
Yeah, but then you're not picky. You're just like, if I eat that, I'll get sick. That's not picky. Me, I'm like, I want the same food every single day.
Texture bothers me more than taste, I would say. So things like I can't eat mushrooms.
You would think the texture would bother me more.
Mangoes, I love the taste, hate the texture. It's disgusting.
I don't like
Do it.
anything about mangoes.
Watermelon's really tough.
Except the color. The color of mango.
It has to be like really hard watermelon or like soft watermelon.
I love watermelon.
It feels awful. It's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this we're saying we're different.
You love evil cucumbers.
Yeah. What? No, I don't.
Pickles. They're my
Oh,
favorite.
pickles, yeah. Pickles are pretty good. But cucumbers and wine.
I said evil cucumber.
But that's taste. That's not texture.
But that's like watermelon.
Not even close. Not even close.
It's like slimy.
No. It's like
Well, I guess watermelon doesn't have the
watermelon
outside
like
crunch.
mushes, and it's like sand, but not sand. There's no word for it. There should be, but yeah, watermelon texture is the worst. I love you, Dara.
Good night. Yeah. I like having control over my food and having it be the same thing. I like what I like.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy to have the same thing all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Talk about your order you drank in high school.
Oh, at school, when I was in middle school and high school, there's this restaurant that would deliver us food. And so I would call the restaurant. Well, I didn't call. My parents called. But anyway, I would call the restaurant and I asked them to give me the same meal every Monday and then the same meal every Tuesday. You know, it was different from Monday. So it'd be like, like Taco Tuesdays, but like every day of the week. I would order. It was, but it changed with the seasons.
Stop!
Like
He's
summer, I
biting
would
my
get more
foot.
salads, and in winter, I would get chili. not like the temperature of the food chili, just like the beans and cheese and meat. And so I would order that, and so I knew exactly what I was getting every day. And I had a brownie every day because that was so good. Their brownies were top notch. So I would get that every single day, and they're like, no one has done this ever before. This is crazy. But now they have a system in place to do that. So I went and visited them a few times after I graduated, at their actual restaurant. And I was like, I'm Chloe. And they're like, Chloe Carrier. The person who got the same food every Monday. It's nice to meet you. They're like, you made it so easy. It's nice. They knew me because I had a special order, even though they never saw my face.
But the delivery guy knew us.
Oh, the delivery guy was like, I got your food. Don't worry. Come over here.
He had to skip the line a lot
Yeah.
because he knew us.
He's like, come over here. Why are you waiting in line? I have your food. I set it aside for you. I don't know why he did that. It was very nice. He's a nice person.
To us. Everyone else had to wait in line and then say their name, and he'd get their goodie bag. But not us. He knew us.
And then I would bring my friend up. Oh, my friend wants to. Oh, I'll get it for them. Here you go. We skipped the whole line. It's fine. We weren't bullies. Haley says all I eat is pickles, pasta.
This is a good option, yeah.
Don't
I
put
don't know,
pickles in your pasta. I mean, you could. That's your choice.
If you like that, enjoy it. But
I'm not you your yum. I will you your yum.
Yep.
I pointed at Lillian. In case you missed. Oh, yeah, pickles and pasta. And peas. No, it's noodles. Never mind. I thought it was all peas.
Is there another trait we should go over? So,
What time is it?
7:47. You have like 10 minutes.
Guys, ask us questions about autism because we have answers.
And then you talked about a little bit of echolalia with Adam. So yeah, it's a slow processing.
How about should people have said this?
Yeah.
When you have echolalia.
Asking. That's why you probably are really good at this.
What?
Masking.
Oh, masking. Yeah.
Okay, when you have echolalia.
Oh.
What did the ship people have said to you? You can't think of it?
A lot of the times I don't know I'm doing it.
Yes.
So like I don't know what they said because I didn't realize I did it. Some people think I'm mimicking them.
They're like, why are you
And
doing
some
that
people are like,
voice?
just why? Yeah, why?
Why are you making fun of me?
Why are you making fun of me? You know, that's the. And I'm like, what? Oh, my bad. Yeah. Sometimes like it's just mimicking noises or what someone says and it confuses them. A lot of people don't even notice I do it.
Yeah.
So it's
Ding dong.
I did that a lot when I was younger. Do I still do that? Our dribble doesn't work. I don't know.
No.
You play any instruments? Interesting question. Very off topic, but no.
She sings.
Kind of.
She used to be in musicals. She
yeah.
never got the lead.
I know how to write music,
Could read.
but I can't play music.
I took piano for years, and then I got a new teacher and I didn't like them, so I stopped playing.
Yeah. I tried many instruments, and they did not work for me.
She's better than me,
No.
because I never understood the notes.
Like
just
I
memorize.
understand what the notes represent, but I can't play them. So it's useless.
We're 2 hours old.
Yeah, she could probably play them, but she can't read them.
Yeah, it helps to read it to play it.
That's an issue. You know.
Yeah.
But when I was
I just memorized it.
yeah,
It took a long time. I
playing
knew
by
like 2 songs. But I was really good at those 2 songs.
if only you could play by ear, but that's even harder. Oh, knock knock, says Haley.
Who there?
Who's there? We gotta wait for that. Okay, it's me. I'm here. You're here? Nice to meet you.
Can you see me? No door in the way. What were you talking about?
We can talk
Oh,
about
shit people said to us.
the shit people say.
What I understand is how much we talked about why one of the reasons why we're really good at it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I mean,
Yeah.
we have time.
Okay.
We're starting with things people have said. So, like, I guess compliments that people think they're saying, it's like they would say, "You're pretty for being on the spectrum. You're smart for being on the spectrum," and that it's kind of offensive. I don't. Why do you have to add the end? Why not just say you're pretty, you're smart, you're
Or compare us.
hungry?
That's a third
I
thing
don't
now.
know. Oh, yeah, that's too. But yeah, just adding that on the end is weird. When we have told people on the spectrum, they're like, "Well, I would never know." And you're like, okay, is that a compliment? Is that not? And then other people just thought that no, you're not. Like, you can't say that. You don't know my life.
I do.
You know my life, yes. But you can't tell me I don't have a diagnosis that I have.
What?
If I said I
I've
was,
never seen the
I
paperwork.
mean, people think they can say no to that. Like, if I said I was allergic to tomatoes, you just go, no, you're not. Like, no, no.
People even try to test it and
Yeah,
try
they
to
try to test
sneak the food. And you're like, huh, you didn't react. Yes, I did.
I did. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Just go like, okay, you have that.
It's all in your head because you threw up from your stomach and that's connected to...
Stop.
Sorry. Oh, she responded. No, who's there? Amanda. Amanda who?
Amanda who?
And now we wait.
No, it's a slow joke. What other things that people have said?
I didn't know girls could have autism.
Yep.
I thought it was only for boys. You don't look autistic. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry you have autism.
Does autism have a look? Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a weird one.
Well, if it does, it looks like us.
It's beautiful.
We
It's
look the
amazing.
same, so everyone has to look.
Yeah.
What else? Well, now we can't think of things. We're positive people.
We just ignore it. Amanda is here to fix the plumbing.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good.
Because I'm a man. A man. Good one.
Hilarious. I love it. So funny. Sorry, you didn't laugh.
Text
It
that
is so
to
funny.
Alex.
He'll love it.
Not text. Message on Insta.
Masking?
Masking. I'm good at that. So much so I don't know I'm doing it. It's second nature.
So
Very exhausting.
we need to explain masking first. You just jump in right now. Are you okay?
Masking is when you behave in a way that neurotypicals understand, even though it's not your natural way of behaving. Such as, I'm happy. That wasn't very subtle, but that.
Facial expressions is a huge one. I think a lot of people on the spectrum, their facial expressions don't match their emotions inside for a neurotypical to understand what's going on. So a lot of us learn to present the facial expression that we're feeling inside so the world can understand what we're feeling rather than just going about our day with whatever face we feel like making. That we just, so which takes a lot of energy, is very draining. I would say that's one of the hardest things to learn, and that's where the talent of acting comes in, because we learn that skill. A lot of us who aren't good at that can go into the acting profession and portray that in that sense.
Not just saying what's on the top of your head and thinking it through and thinking what would a neurotypical say in this situation instead of what an autistic person would say.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, small talk.
Small talk's annoying. It's very common for people on the spectrum to go, I don't want to do small talk. I hate it. It's annoying. I know people hate talking about the weather. That's like the worst topic you could bring up to someone.
Unless they're into that's their special interest.
Yeah.
And they are going to be a weatherman.
But that's
or woman. Other person.
Yeah, small talk is very difficult and something that a lot of us don't like to do. But we learn it and we try it. Or some of us just go, nope, not gonna do that. What other things? His body language is another one.
Tone of voice.
Tone of voice. Yeah, I think that's one of the most difficult
Figures
ones.
Of speech.
Figures of speech are impossible. Sarcasm.
Jokes.
Yeah, humor is different. That there is definitely a sense of humor on the spectrum that like we have as a community, I would say, that neurotypicals don't have, and the neurotypical humor for a lot of us doesn't make sense. And it's learned what is funny and what is not, because we'll make a joke that's hilarious to us, and Chloe will laugh at my joke, but no one else will.
I'm funny.
And then the other way around, it's like I'll say something that I'm being serious about, and the rest of the world will laugh. And I'm like, what did I say? That's very, very common. And we learn to brush it off that they're not making fun of us, that it's just genuinely different in humor. You just, someone got to figure out. You're still trying to figure out a lot of these things that just don't make sense. There's a lot of social rules of things that, like, boundaries you can't cross super fast, that a lot of autistic people don't understand boundaries at all, and they'll just come up to you. I still do, like, when I meet someone, like, we're best friends now, this happened, it's fine. Where this neurotypical is like, you need at least like a month before you can call someone best friend. Why? 5 minutes is fine. Boundaries. People, I think.
Yeah. I have more boundaries.
You have more boundaries.
It takes me a while to warm up to people.
Mm-hmm. Is that a learned behavior? Something you always had?
Something I always had. Eh, Probably because I grew up with you, though.
True. There's a lot of things that I tested the waters and found didn't work, and she would watch me do that and then go, that doesn't work.
No, but also you were very harsh to
Yeah.
me. You just like were brutally honest,
Mhm.
and like that's what I mean. Like, huh. Just gonna say whatever you think right now, huh? I'd be like, Lillian, look, I made this amazing painting. It took me a week. Oh, that's not very good, Chloe. Okay. Thank you, best friend.
I still struggle with that. If you tell a child honesty is the best policy, always
They're
be
gonna
honest.
They're gonna be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. Everyone told me always be honest. Lying is bad. And,
Yeah,
Okay. Never lie.
but a white lie is not a lie.
What?
What?
Gray area. Doesn't make sense.
It's good.
Okay, so it's 8 o'clock.
Go to artism.com. Register for everything. We've got an end of year celebration. Woo, 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 woo. So go do that, and then sign up for a support group. There's a support group for everybody. There's a women's support group. There's an adult support group. There's a parent support group. Is there a teen one? No, there's not a teen one, but maybe one day. There's a teen social group. You should do that. And check out my blog. I write about living on the spectrum. And come back next week. I do these talks every Wednesday at 7. Just thank you for all your questions and sharing your stories with us. We love talking to you. Thank you, Haley, for joining us again. Thank you, Richard, for joining us again. Oh, we got a new comment. She lives 6 hours away. No.
We're gonna start an online one.
We'll start an online thing. No, just for you. We didn't have plans for that before you said that. Don't worry.
We did.
That was sarcasm. That was a joke. Okay.
Only Haley heard that, huh?
Yeah. Stay colorful. Oh, I forgot. Do you have any parting message that everyone?
January 16th.
Tune in to Freeform January 16th. Everything's gonna be okay. It comes out, and you may just see my face.
Or not. Okay, bye. Stay colorful.